And I mean, this is, of course, the greatest opportunity to just smile and say, well, you want that I tell you my secret? Okay, let's sit down for a drink. I'm going to tell you all my secrets. That now the business got so much more easy than it was originally when we started. Don't speak anymore. Don't talk them in a coma or whatever. It's not necessary. You have a product which is doing all the work. It's working. I personally also was surfing the wave in the last years because the commission was good. So I was focusing on my private life, which is also one of the ways why you do network marketing, because when you have a certain level, then you can keep it up, of course, for quite a long time. But after David launched at Monse in Europe, the X39 patch 4 years ago, I really saw the potential that now the business got so much more easy than it was originally when we started. When I didn't start, I mean, I'm with the company since 19 years. That doesn't mean that I started. At 19 years ago, we had in Europe absolutely nothing because the company Lifewave was really small. And what we had were just the energy enhancer and the IceWave patches. But a friend of mine came over. I do a lot of sports. At that time, I was quite professionally driving and going for water ski. And he asked me, Jan, what would be if you could drive 5 or 10 minutes longer in your super slalom? I said, oh, this would be amazing. How should that be working? And he said, how many push-ups you can do? And I said, push-ups? I don't know. I never count them, between 30 and 35 probably. And he said, okay, take out your shirt. And I said, why? Okay, just don't do me a favor, just do it. I took out my shirt. He patched me the energy enhancer on the lung 1 points and said, okay, on the ground, now do push-ups. And I was doing something like 45, 46, 47. He said, you know what, Jan, that's already enough. Just stop. What did you realize? I said, well, I did definitely 20% minimum more than I would normally could do. And he said, okay, and what do you think, why is this so? And I said, well, the only thing which could be an explanation are these magical stickers you just put on me. What is this for, kind of doping? What did you put inside of my body? Okay, we all know this. To make a long story short, nothing is entering inside of the body, just light. And so I said, okay, I would like to repeat it with a t-shirt on, because if it's just light, which gets activated through my infrared field, it should be working then also. So I tried it 1 hour later again, and it was working, of course, the same. And there were no spots on the t-shirt, so I really could see that nothing was entering, no liquid, no product, which was going inside of my t-shirt. And so I said, whoa, this is absolutely insane. If I can prove that a product is working just within 5 minutes of time, and nothing is entering inside of the body, and I can show it to everybody immediately, the results, the effects. I mean, every deaf and dumb can sell it. This is absolutely huge. That was 19 years ago. So I said, wow, I want to have them for myself, and I will bring it to all sporter friends I have, because this is absolutely amazing. What I did not know that at that time, when you wanted to have these products, you had to order it in the United States. Europe was not open. We didn't have any logistics center. The product wasn't licensed, so you had to pay customs each time you got a package. It took you 3 weeks till it arrived from the United States, and I realized quite quickly, well, the product is great, but to bring it really across, this is taking a lot of work. So I was just simply signed up. I consumed the products myself, but I didn't build a business. There wasn't even a website which you could use, no back office, nothing.
Yeah.
And a few years later, something like 4 years later, at that time, I was in another network marketing company on the highest position of the compensation plan. Somebody else called me and said, Jan, you know that you have at Lifewave already now something like 25,000 people in your organization. And I said, how is possible? I just use the products for myself. I signed up maybe 2 people, and then I realized in Europe it's not possible. And say, well, it summed up, and there was somebody in your downline somewhere, and he built up France. This was Phil Steinberg, and the business is booming, and we have now a logistics center in Europe, and you should maybe just take a look. And I said, well, you know, I'm super doing good with another company, so I'm definitely not looking at it. I'm not open for it. And then she started to call me again after 8 weeks and said, you know, You have now something like 30,000 people in your one leg. And you have to imagine this is a binary plan. It pays into the unlimited depths. And I was in another big American billion-dollar company. And I realized it was not that easy to earn money. It was a bit more like, you know, you were building up on the left and the people were falling down on the right. So you were always needed to do and to work and to work to keep up your highest position, your blue diamond or your team elite, because everybody needed minimum a qualification of 2,000 points a month, which means more than $2,000, which they had to do themselves to keep their position. And when they didn't have it, they were falling back. And so, well, it took me another few months. And I said, you know, to stay on stage and say to people that this will create for them a residential income, it's in the end, it's a lie, because it's not possible. You always have to work and to work and to work and to work, because the people who are not qualifying are stopping the jobs, and the others you have to get in. And so I took a look at Lifewave again. At that time, I had already 33,000 people in my downline without doing anything. Yeah? I was just in the company, nothing else. And then we had this logistics center in Ireland, and I realized, okay, now we had the Eon patch, and I said, whoa, this is cool. A patch which is reducing the stress inside of your cells, the inflammation. How many people are under stress, under chronic stress? What kind of diseases are created by this if you have long-time chronic stress? I said, whoa, this is amazing. And I started the business. And when I do something, I do it correctly or I don't do it at all. And so within the next 4 years, I was able to build up a team of over 100,000 people, because I was doing the trainings. I was speaking with everybody I saw about the patches. And it, of course, as it's such an amazing product and such a great opportunity, it really brought the business up in Europe. And it was quite funny. I mean, of course, I met Roy. We were invited to all of the travels all over the world, which Lifewave is offering to leaders of the company. And since that time, which is something like, I guess, probably 10 years ago, we are well connected. Because if people have a positive mindset, like Roy, of course, has, and is always smiling, always has a nice speech, a nice joke on his lips, then you like to be around with people who have this positive attitude and this really nice appearance. And so we connected. And yeah, that stayed, of course, till today, where the last thing we met was in Orlando. And before, he was just on a cruise through the Mediterranean a few weeks ago, where we met in Mallorca on my island where I'm living. So what is different between Europe and the United States? In the United States, I realized when you just speak the magic word stem cell, people are already getting half an orgasm. They open their ears and their eyes, and you tell them, well, you know, you can try the patch. You don't know what it does for that person, but you can just speak about your own experience and say, you know, when you try it and you see some good results, perfect. When you try it and you shouldn't see anything within 3 months, you can give the product back, you get the money back. Where's your risk? And you just shut up. That's all you need to do. And you get the address, you get the telephone number of the people, and $150, this is not much money in the United States anymore, because with the inflation, which I realized when I was in the US, how expensive the products are. This is just something quite easily to afford. And the thing is, we should not have any worries and think about if somebody can afford it or not, because if they realize the amazing benefits which the products offers to us, then of course they will buy it. Especially when you say, in case they are a little bit insecure, just try the patch. In case it should not be working, worst case scenario, you could get your money back 90 days. Where is your risk? And you just don't speak anymore. Don't talk them in a coma or whatever. It's not necessary. You have a product which is doing all the work. It's working. Just the only thing you have to do is build up trust that people believe you, that it can work, that they can get the money back, and that's all you need to do. In Europe, it's a bit more complicated. When you speak about stem cells, they say still today, oh, stem cell, that's forbidden in Europe. I don't know if this is not something which is not really so sure. And I say, well, it's just working with light. You're just activating your own stem cells in your own body. So why don't you just try it? And they say, well, I have to take a look. I have to dig deeper into it. I have to read the studies. I have to ask my doctor, blah, blah, blah. And it takes, of course, much more work to convince people. They're not so open as the American or the Asians are. But nevertheless, after the X-39 opportunity came up in the Mondsee 4 years ago, it started now that also Europe is waking up again. So we're coming back. I personally sponsored this year more than 143 new brand partners in my front line, so to say. Of course, we know latest now from Rick that they are all through the spillover underneath each other in one line, so that creates automatically dynamic. And this is a thing which I can really just also recommend, that you are focusing on one leg at a time. Usually, when you focus your energy on one thing, it creates more momentum, more things are happening which you want to do, and you are automatically motivating everybody around. That means even if you're just signing up 2, 3, or 4 new distributors a month, when they're all underneath each other, and you tell the people who are in the upline who are not so active, look, my brother here, look in your downline, look what's happening in your left or in your right leg. You see, there are just a few here, 4, 5, 6, 7, or after 2 months, there are 8 or 9 new distributors underneath you, and you can profit from their gains, from their turnover. Isn't that absolutely amazing? And they say, well, but I didn't do anything. I didn't sign up anybody. You know, the same thing you have maybe experienced early on, but I also told you about my personal story, why I started one day to say, okay, I'm stopping my other network business, because here I can really finally build up about what every networker is speaking about building up a passive residential income, which is just getting bigger and bigger, and by doing something good. And so we create now a reactivation of people by just calling them and showing them what is happening underneath them. And this is now what we also could say a very small momentum. So I'm back in the business. I'm working again 8 to 10 hours, because if you don't push yourself and nobody else is doing, how should the business be created? And of course, it was quite motivating for us to see that America and Asia are rocketing. The numbers are just flying away like in an UFO. And Europe was always on the same level. It was not moving. So I said, okay, I go out of my comfort zone and I just sit down and start working again, like I did it 10 years ago. And now, for example, we have, as you also heard, this new elite group. Nobody of Europe is in it. Yeah. So I said, okay, I have to be the first inside. So I have my personal why again, not only to help people all around the globe to have a healthier and better life, which is, of course, absolutely satisfying and a great gift if you can work in such a great company with such amazing products, which everybody needs, especially in times where we have war around the world, where it's a dark moment and everybody is surrounded by darkness. You can watch the news and all you get are bad news. We have a critical situation in the economy. People are fighting against each other and killing each other all over the globe because they cannot get right which God should be the best. I mean, and you just stay and say, oh my God, and this is doing stress, and this stress is working on your hypothalamus, and that means it's going to shrink when you don't do anything against the stress. And we have the opportunity to bring people light inside of their body. We just offer light in a time where there's a lot of darkness. And this is absolutely huge. If you just realize this is really a way of helping people around in need. And everybody needs our patches. Who doesn't like to be more young? Who wouldn't like to be in 10 years, again, 10 or 5 years younger than they are now? Almost anybody. And therefore, this is the absolute best, hugest possibility and opportunity you can offer to anybody. The times are really difficult outside there. So people need help, and you can offer this help financially, as you have just seen here by Rick. This compensation plan is just huge. It's amazing. It really pays out into the unlimited depths, and where you have a plan like this, where for the qualification, you're through, you're just done when you're ordering maximum for 110 US dollar a month. This is all you need to do to be able to get paid $25,000 only for example, the cycle bonus. The matching bonus is unlimited. I built up one person in Hamburg. I called that person. Hamburg is in the north of Germany. I called that person in 1 year, 5 or 6 times. And he always said, you know, Jan, I'm a president in that company. You know, I earn so much money. Financially, I'm done. I live in Monaco officially. You know, what are you speaking about, these ridiculous little patches? And I said, you know, you've got them. Just try them. And you know what I'm talking. And he said, well, you know, yeah, maybe. I called him again after 4 weeks. And he said, ha, ha, ha. I said, well, no worries. All is fine. There will be coming the moment where maybe you have pain, or you know somebody around you has pain, who can't sleep, or needs more energy, or whatever. You have the patches, just try them, brother. And it took me another 3 nice calls with him. Of course, then we spoke about other things to have a nice contact, not to be giving too much pressure. And after around 7 months, there was a moment where his mother fell down the stairs and she had pain. And I said, well, I'm so sorry to hear that your mother has pain. Do you still have the patches which I sent to you at that time, something like 6 months ago? And he said, well, I have to search. I say, well, search and call me back. You can help your mother with it, because it was weekend. Doctors were closed. This is Germany. Huh? It doesn't work like in the US 24/7. No, doctors are closing their offices on Friday, and they open on Monday again. Well, so that was my chance in the end. He called me back and said, well, I have here this energy enhancer. What can I do with this? I said, okay, you see, we have 10 patches, you have white patches. You go to your mother where she has a pain, the 10 patch on the left, the white patch on the right, around this pain area, and you just try it. And then I stay on the phone, and he patched her, and he said, Jan, something is wrong. My mother doesn't have any pain anymore. I can't believe it. This is insane. This cannot be correct, right? Something is wrong. I said, well, you could have had this already since 7 months. To make a long story short, that is now my best distributor with the biggest organization of my personal organization, which I sponsored. And I just received around $14,000 a week of matching bonus from him. And this was just because of a little bit more of resistance, of a little bit more of persistence, being nice, being friendly, but straight on, focused on the point. You never know, but one time is the right moment for everyone where you can get them. So if there's somebody who's building up a business, who's maybe already a networker in other companies, you want to have him, stay on him. Keep the contact, because we have the best products. We have an amazing compensation plan, and the timing was never better than now. David Schmidt invents even more crazy products, which are just huge. The opportunity never got better. I mean, now you see couriers directly in front of our doors. If not now, then when? When you start now, then people are saying, you know, when you started, that was an amazing time. Nobody knew Lifewave. It was such a small company, and therefore this was the moment to do something. And I say, no, this is absolutely wrong. Today is even a better time, because people have the awareness that they can prevent the illnesses, that they can do something to regenerate their body in the beginning. And you have all the studies, the business is growing, therefore branches and offices are all over the world. The support gets better and better. The website is absolutely amazing. So now is the best time ever to start. And when we managed in the time where we didn't even have any licenses to get big, then you, with the support which you get today, with the dynamic which is there, this is really huge, folks. Here we have now finally the new pictures. You see, I did some water skiing at that time, and that was a moment where I really felt, of course, when you're active in life and you're doing sports and you use the energy enhancer or X49 or X39 or the combination of all three of them, you just feel like Superman. You have, or Superwoman, of course. You have 30% more energy. You don't get, you get a rejuvenating effect. Your recovery is super huge. And instead of whatever, driving 15 minutes slalom behind the boat, you can go for 25 minutes. And everybody says, oh my God, how you do this? It's absolutely amazing. I've never seen somebody water skiing so long with the mono ski. It's so good. Here you see on the right side, for example, this was were two pictures. You just have to be brave. Yeah, you have to be brave and show yourself, even if it's sometimes a little bit embarrassing, but people love this. That means you have a little belly, like you see here on the picture in the middle, in the bathing trouser. This was when I was trying out the X49. Well, my body was a little bit fluffy at that time. So you see my breast a bit hanging, not so much a definition in the body. And I just said, okay, I just don't change anything. I do twice a week my half-an-hour training, but I just start to use a patch, and I did consequently a picture in the same moment of the day with the same light at the same moment after breakfast in one position, and I took a next picture after 8 weeks. And everybody could see the difference, because on the picture on the right, you see that the abdomen is much more defined. It's stronger, better posture, bigger also biceps and triceps. The breast is smaller. It's not hanging so much anymore. And when I sent these pictures in my newsletter, it really started that people said, whoa, I see that X49 is working. Now I want to try it myself. So never forget to always do the pictures before and after. This is a very, very powerful help to show how your products are working. And we've seen all the pictures earlier in the presentation of Roy, of before and after, if it's anti-wrinkle, if it's recovery after injuries, whatever it is. This is absolutely huge. Other companies are just trying to speak about things which they cannot prove, where they don't have the effects and not so quick. And we have it just after partially 1 week. If you have, for example, an accident or somebody around, and you just can help people to patch. And therefore, the next tip, always have the patches with you. It's like you're a police officer and you have a gun, but you don't have any, how you call these things, munition to fire. You need always to be able to help people, and this is only possible when you always have the patches by your side, because there's always an option when you're running around with open eyes of people. You see somebody has a rare way of walking, so you can ask, oh, I'm sorry, may I ask you, I have the impression, do you have pain when you're walking? Because I see that you have problems, and with your hip, you keep it behind you, then the other one, the energy is not really flowing. And then you just come, you smile, you're friendly, you're open, you really want to help, because you have the mindset that you want to help, so you're going to help. And this is what people feel. To the right person, you cannot say anything wrong. You don't have to be worrying about words, because people feel it in their, here, up here, they see there's a connection. You really mean it from your heart in a good way, so you connect from heart to heart. And what you say is completely irrelevant, doesn't matter. So you say, okay, when there would be a chance just with light that maybe you could feel better. You know, you see here, I have just 2 little stickers. They're like in Europe we say €2 piece, like a piece of moneda. And you just patch it on the left, on the right, and you would feel better. Would you like to try it? Should I help you? Should I show you? And this is what was also when Roy and I were having with David Schmidt and the earlier president, Mike Collins, we were having a wine tasting in California. I mean, at that time, I was still a little bit shy. I mean, I had my success, but Roy was speaking with absolutely everybody. If it's a waitress, if it's somebody, toilet manager, or we call it maybe sanitary manager, didn't matter. He spoke with everybody. He was taking out his patches. He was patching everybody who was not with saying three, somebody 10 meters on top of a tree. And this is the way it works. You see how great are his results. And this is the only thing what you have to do. Nobody, when you're not opening your mouth, when you're not starting to speak about your business, nobody can see it. Nobody knows what an amazing gift you have to offer to others to make this world a better place. So just open your lips and speak about and offer people help. If this is your mindset, if this is what you're doing, you cannot do anything wrong. You will build up a business, and if you just keep on it, it will be as successful as the one from Roy or from Rick, or if you want to look at it a little bit smaller, then, for example, like my own one. Now, this is, for example, here, this car now, which Roy just shows now. I like cars. Many boys, yeah, the only difference between men and boy, the price of their toy. This is a 1957 Triumph. And Roy told me, Brother Jan, I'm coming to Mallorca. I'm on a cruise through the Mediterranean. I say, oh, great. Are you with your wife? Yeah, no, I'm coming alone. I'm coming alone. Okay, I said, where are you? Oh, let's meet at the cathedral. So I said, okay, it's only Roy. It's a small car. It's a two-seater. It's perfectly fine. So I just need one seat free. Huh? I'm driving, so Roy is beside me, but it was not Roy alone. Maybe when you're sitting with Roy together one day and you're having a beer, he can show the picture how full such a small car can be. And have you seen that the Alla Vida, of which we heard also earlier, what it all does in our body, which is absolutely stunning and amazing, also not only for the beauty effects, but also for the health effects, because when you can create more collagen and elastin inside of your body, this is also important for every single cell in your body and for the health of the cells. So not think that this is just something for women. Since I take this Alla Vida, for example, around 8 years ago, I never had any red spot somewhere in my face anymore, and the wrinkles got so much reduced, it was huge. And then with X39, of course, the combination is just unbeatable.
Now, this is in Germany. You got to tell me, I was guessing, is that the chronological and biological age?
Absolutely. As I did this test, I'm 53 in the meantime. So I'm exactly 10 years younger, like Roy. And this epigenetics is now a topic which we have also in Europe, which is getting bigger. Because when you can test just with your saliva, with your spine, you can just check how is really your real age and controlling, are you doing things good in life or not? This is, of course, an amazing, interesting opportunity to see where you are. And I did this just last month, and I have a biological age of 38.1. So I'm 15 years younger than my chronological age, like the candles on my birthday cake. So I think that's pretty good, because that means I have around 30% more time, if it all stays the way it's going to be, like my fellows who have the same age like me. And here on the picture, you see my beautiful wife, Carla. She is 36 years old. She made the test also, and she has now a biological age of 25.1. So that's not so bad. Her guts have an age of 21, because you can also check your age of your metabolism and everything. So that means, obviously, we're doing something correct with Lifewave, yeah? And if you see whatever, you're 53, but your biological age is 66, then you should maybe start to think about of changing the one or the little detail of your diet or of your sports program or of your mindset or whatever, to take out the chronological stress in your life, that you can really get in your biological age younger, because we are, of course, the best mirror of our business. That means when we look like a bucket, but we are talking about health, how trustable is this? So very easy. We are our own product. So when we help that we feel good, that our health is improving, then this is also, of course, a very good selling point for others. Because, for example, when I look at my pictures, and when you go further on, Roy, with the presentation, you will see that I put some pictures together of my passports, for example, and ID cards, and you will see that I improved. This picture, for example, look at the wrinkles around my eyes. Yeah, this picture has been taken around 10 years ago. And when you see my elastin, my collagen levels were not so high as they are today. Because when I'm smiling today, you will see that I have much less wrinkles around the eye than I had at that time. And that is 10 years earlier, which means I would need to have even much more wrinkles today if it would be just the normal way life is going to continue. This picture, by the way, has been taken in Orlando, which you just saw with my wife. So Orlando was the last time when I saw Roy. So this is a very actual picture. This was where we were invited to an SPD retreat in the Waldorf Astoria. Very nice from David. It's always very generous, spending time with other successful SPDs, sharing thoughts, success stories, and getting more motivated. So this was directly a few days before the convention, which we had in Orlando, where I got also 3 awards. So obviously now also Europe is waking up and we're doing some things also quite correct. Sponsor of the Year of Europe, best customer sponsor of Europe, and this Enlightenment Award, what I got this year. So obviously what I do is also working, because when you do things and you have a lot of fun with it and you share your excitement and you have your heart open, and what else can happen that people really go to you, come to you, they feel attracted, like, yeah, because you are having light in a time where there's darkness everywhere around, problems, worries, stress, and there's somebody who's smiling, who gets younger and younger from year to year just by taking the X39 patches, and people say, what the heck are you doing? That's not normal. I saw you already 3 years. I see you now. You look much better than 3 years ago. You're turning around time. What is your secret, man? And I mean, this is, of course, the greatest opportunity to just smile and say, well, you want that I tell you my secret? Okay, let's sit down for a drink. I'm going to tell you all my secrets. And then you're in the business with them. It's really, really easy. So thank you very much for having me here. Now it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm not going to bed now anymore. It's of course, everything is still dark here, but it's an amazing moment now. It's Sunday morning. I can write now my newsletter, so not so bad, and take the momentum out of this really lovely group to show what we have to do still in Europe to come to the point where you are already. So you can be all very blessed and happy, the opportunity, which is really absolutely huge, and just use it. If you don't use it, if you don't see this chance, you wouldn't be here today, I'm pretty sure. All the best, and I hope to see you at the next convention, latest in Texas next year. So thank you very much for having me here.